Proverbs 10:22. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22, No King James Version. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Good morning, arise, shine. My name is Daphnee Antoine, and today we are mapping our New Year's money goals. Hear me correctly. I did not say New Year resolution. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to say New Year's. How to map our money goals. Okay. So I'm Daphnee Antoine. I am a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area, helping families to be first-time home buyers. So this conversation is to help us calculate to um, how to eventually have the money that we are looking for this year. Okay, it's important that we have money goals because our money goals is gonna help us figure out our activity goals. At the end of the day, the money is the byproduct of what we are doing on a daily basis to show up, to serve, to provide a solution. So come on live, connect, let's talk. So a lot of time people, start the new year and they say they wanna, this amount of money in the bank by the end of the year, okay? And then leave it like that. So it's important that we map that, okay? So what do I mean by map that? I mean by having a a plan, a formula, something that can keep us on track, that we can go on daily, weekly, monthly to verify so that we can get there. Okay, so for example, I know many people, I guess the ideal number, not the ideal, but like when you're just starting, maybe some people the ideal number is to have that six-figure year, right? That $100,000 year. But how do we map that so that it doesn't become a wish, but something that we plan to do? And that just simply to break it down so that it doesn't become this far-fetched idea, okay, that is in a dreamland, but is actually in an action land, okay? So we must have activity goals that's gonna help us, okay, to eventually reach our year-end money goal. For example, so I mentioned that $100,000, okay, year, if that's your thing. But then if it's not your thing, you can always start with your own number and then break it down as I'm going to mention now. Okay. So we already know, okay, we are reverse engineering a year, right? We are reverse engineering our goal so that we can eventually reach it. I wanna Some people may say go ahead and divide that by 12. I want to divide it by 4 because we have 4 quarters, and then so that way we can check in with ourselves sooner because we don't want to just do monthly and then leave it at that. I think it's important that we do quarterly, okay? For us to have quarterly goals so that then we stay on track and we can review and then we can go ahead and change anything that we may want to change. So obviously, if it's 100,000, 4 quarters of the year, so we want to earn $25,000 every 3 months. Okay, so basically the way I did that was 100,000 divided by 4 quarters, right? Okay, that's 25,000. 100,000 divided by 4. Okay, so now we have to earn $25,000 every 3 months so that we can reach our year in $100,000 money goal. And I'm sure you know, reverse engineer 25,000 by 3. So that's divide 25,000 by 3. So we must earn $8,333 every month. And mind you, I'm talking about gross. So we're not talking about any, expenses that you and I may occur if we're entrepreneur versus employees. Even if we're employees, obviously there's a lot of taxes that's being taken out. This conversation is solely focusing on the gross, and obviously, if you desire your net to be that 100,000, then you add whatever your tax bracket to be, maybe 20,000, 15,000, 50,000 to it. But just to be safe, I would say add 50,000. Okay, so we're saying we have to earn around $8,400 every month to get to that, ideal 100K year. Okay, do we want to break it down some more to weeks? Okay, we can. Well, let's break it down to weeks. Obviously, there's 4 weeks in each month, ideally. So let's divide that by 4, and then we're looking at $2,083 every week. And do this with me. Do it live with me with your number so that we can map our money goal. We don't want it to be that like in the dreamland. We want to see it, physically in front of our eyes. And 7 days in a week, obviously, some of us want to rest, but let's just talk about the 5 days, five, weekdays, okay? Divided by 5, and we're looking at $416 every weekday. We just map our money goal, okay? But how do we achieve it? I'm not sure who I was listening to, if it was Dr. Myron Golden or one of the preachers I listened to. But what was said was money comes from people. The money that you and I we need, it's in somebody's pocket. And the way that we can exchange that money to come to our pocket is if we are willing to give this person something that they value more than the money that's in the pocket, right? It's not that they don't value the money that they have, but then they see that what you are offering them is worth more than what they are holding on to. So, what you and I have to do is to think about what possible uh, service then we can provide to someone who's then gonna be willing to exchange that wealth that they have in their pocket to transfer to us in exchange for solving a problem or issue that they have or providing them with something that they want. Okay. And then, so with that being said, first we have to first know exactly what it is that you and I, we do. Okay. We have to settle on, okay, how do I increase my value so that I can provide a solution to this person who's willing to pay me to provide that solution. So that's going to be our first thing. It's like, what do we do? What do you and I do? I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area. And then, so the way a person will pay me is if I help them get that dream home that they want to buy. Okay. And then, so as me, using my knowledge, my expertise to help them, they are willing to transfer that finance to me. So you have to have that same conversation with yourself. What are you willing to offer in exchange for someone to be able to say, okay, I know I have this money, but I'm willing to give it to you because what you've provided to me is, I don't want to say more valuable, but then it's valuable. Okay. So first identify what do we do. But then we have to be knowledgeable. Just because we do something, okay, I think it's important for you and I to always, you know, keep on studying so we can do our best so that we can provide the solution that we tell people we're gonna do. Because at the end of the day, we have to operate in integrity, right? We don't want somebody to come in and say, okay, I'm willing to pay you to do this, but knowing fully that we are not at that level yet that to be able to help them. So continue to increase your knowledge, continue to increase your skill so that you can show up and you can show up with excellence. Okay? So that way when people come, they say, okay, I see you do this. I wanna invest in you to do this for me. All right. So we already talked about how to map our money goals. We have to figure it out. And then we have to know what we do and we have to make sure that we do it well. Okay. And then at the end of the day, we have to let people know. Okay, how can you and I, we know something, we doing it well, but we're not letting anyone know. Okay, so we have to show up in the marketplace. So this is me showing up in the marketplace, letting you know I'm in the Chicagoland area, but I'm a real estate agent and I can actually help anywhere. And then so if that's something you need or you know someone who needs it, you can let them reach out to me, right? But you have to do the same thing. Whatever it is that you do, if you're not letting anybody know, how can they know to come to you? Okay, so we have to have a plan on how to show up. I'm showing up at 6 a.m. in the morning because I am a mom. I am a mom. If I don't do it early, when my kids are sleeping and my house is quiet, I don't know if I will get to it. So figure out what works for you. Okay, what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. But at the end of the day, you and I, we have to show up. Okay, we have to show up. We have to connect. We have to network. Just figure out what works for you. Okay, so we we decide on what it is that we want to provide as a value to our potential clients. We become knowledgeable about it so that we can provide that service. Okay, we are marketing ourselves so that people actually know what it is that we do, so that if they need our service they can come to us, or if they know someone who needs our service, then they can refer us. Okay, and then we once we have the client, we have to implement, we have to do the work. So I just want to say, do the work. Okay, let's have integrity. Someone pay you to do something, you do it. You have to keep your name. I'll talk about that, Lola. we have to we have to protect our name. Hey Lola, thanks for joining us and thanks for your comment. Appreciate you. I'll respond to it in a minute. We have to keep your name. I was listening to Dr. Myron Golden. He released he released his video for the year for the he released his video for the year, right? And it was how do you build $1 million brand. I highly recommend that you go watch that video. It's on YouTube. It's how do you build $1 million brand. And what he really talked about is protecting your name, because people do business with you based on your reputation. And then so if you have a reputation of someone who doesn't really show up, who doesn't really do what you say you're going to do, then at the end of the day, you can forget about your money goals, okay? Because though you may have one client here and one client there, but if you continuously not doing what you say you're gonna do, people talk. Eventually, people are gonna want to do business with you, and as they shouldn't do business with you, okay? So we have to do the work. So I'm just gonna I think this conversation was really like entrepreneurship kind of like geared, but then that could also, you and I, we can also be employees, and then we still have a this money goals that we have, and um we can still go ahead and apply that with our current employer, right? And then so that also means, for example, if you want an employee, I used to be a personal banker for one of the biggest bank in America. And then so let's just say someone is in the banking industry and they have an audacious money goal, right? You can still keep your job, okay? And then so if what you're earning at your job is not your ideal salary, you can always, increase your value to your employer, and then obviously ask them to compensate you for that. That's basically asking for a raise, but you don't just go ask for a raise. You have to show value. It's like, why do I deserve this? You have to show the value that you bring in to the company, just like you are bringing to a customer, right? And then you can also increase your skills. Okay, so maybe if you want to add a certification, something that you can add, so that you can provide more product or more service to your company, you can do that as well. And then also, I don't want to say just get a second job, because we have to maintain our health and maintain our personal lives, but then we can have a business on the side. So if you're earning maybe 50K, but then your goal is to earn 100K, keep your job. Keep your job, and then think about a business or a service that you can provide, that you can earn that other 50K. Okay, so I mean, if you can do it, go ahead and do it that way. Always keep your job, unless you can replace your income. Um, I want to add one thing. Okay, yeah, and then the thing is, if there's no conflict of interest, if there's no conflict of interest, you don't have to start a whole new business. You can consult other people on what you're doing now for your company. Obviously, if there's trade secrets and all of that, you cannot do that. But then if that's something, if there's no like conflict of interest, just you don't have to start a whole new thing. If that's not your thing, just consult other people. Maybe people want to learn how to get on your field. You can teach people how to get in your field. You can help people with reviewing the resume. You can help people how to interview for your position. Okay, so you don't have to start a whole new thing. So thank you so much for all of you who've been supporting me live. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Daphnee Antoine. I am a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area, just having a conversation about how we can map our money goal for 2024. So we're not having a New Year resolution. We are having money goals that we can break down on, plan, so that at the end of the year, we don't say, okay, what did I do? But then because we are taking action weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly, and we have to check in with ourselves, right? So the reason I broke it down to quarterly is because at the end of the quarter we have that time to kind of like review. As a matter of fact, we can do it each month, right? So we can say, okay, what do I need to do more? I did not reach it this week, but then what can I do extra to make sure that I reach it next week? Okay. So with that being said, thanks again. So I have Lola. She said, "What about bad or mediocre credit?" Okay. So we are talking about earning money, right? So a lot of time, if you want to use credit to basically increase your income. For example, maybe you have a business and you want to maybe use credit so you can finance that business, right? at the end of the day, we're gonna have to figure out how do we fix our credit, okay? And then so a lot of time, maybe most of the time, credit issue comes to not having the money to pay the debt that we've already incurred, and so that's that's also uh, that's also a good thing to calculate that into our money goals, because we may want to figure out, okay, this is the debt that I have, and I want to make sure that I improve my credit so that I can have access, to more credit to be able to finance some other stuff. And then so we're gonna have to talk about, okay, what it is that we want to do. Okay, this is gonna be a personal conversation for you, because I'm not like I used to be a banker, but then right now I'm working as a real estate agent, so I'm not giving you financial advice, but you have to decide, okay, what it is that I want to do. Do I want to hire someone to help me fix my credit? Do I want to increase my income so that I can go ahead and pay my debt? Okay, so this all the, or do I want to declare bankruptcy? This is all the question you need to ask yourself based on where you are in life, and then you can make this decision for yourself. Okay, so it's Lola say, hey Lola, Elizabeth, hey Elizabeth. She said, love it. I love it. Thank you. Elizabeth is also a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area as well. And we with the same company, Century 21. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for all the loves, the like, the comments. So yes, as I end, let us not just have resolution, but let us have goals that we can connect to activity goals. Okay, so that at the end of the year we can be proud of yourself, of ourselves, to say, I did it. We did it. I believe in you. Get up. Okay, do the work, plan it out, take action, and then surely you and I, we will arrive. So if this conversation was helpful to you, I highly ask you that you do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube page if that's what you're watching it, and share with somebody else. Okay, and again, I'm a real estate agent in the Chicagoland area. If you or someone you know is looking to buy, sell, even rent an apartment or invest in real estate, I will ask you to kindly consider me to serve you. With that being said, have a wonderful day. Take action and do the work. So as I end, I want to end with Isaiah 60 verse 1 that says, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rise upon you. Bye for now, and see you tomorrow.